All right, here we are in question 8 with some more examples. Okay, now this was a challenge, so let's see where this takes us. Let's say I have something like this. 3x to the negative second b to the fourth over 5 x to the third b to the second. Oh boy, it's a big one, right? But we're just going to take it step by step. Okay, so the first step is kind of what we did up here, right? Which is if we see a negative exponent, it has to move. It has to go to the other side of the fraction. So move factors. Factors are like each piece of this, like 3 and x to the negative second and b to the fourth. Those are each their own factor. Move factors with negative exponents. Okay, we got to do that first. So watch that looks like. I'm going to take my bar. 3, that doesn't have a negative exponent on it. Keep it, right? And I'm going to x to the negative second. Oop, that's got a negative exponent. Okay, so that's going down to the bottom. See? b to the fourth, that doesn't have a negative exponent. That goes right there. Okay, that stays. Now I'm going to come down to the bottom. 5, oh, that one's good. That one doesn't have a negative exponent. Okay, x to the third, that one doesn't have a negative exponent. That one stays. And b to the second, that one also doesn't have a negative exponent. So notice all I did here was I moved x to the negative second, I moved it to the bottom and made it x to the positive second. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just simplify everything, right? So I'm going to like combine these two x's. I'm also going to simplify, I'm going to cancel out some of these b's, right? There's like 4 b's up here and 2 b's down here. So some of them are going to cancel. So I'm going to basically combine and cancel. And I'm going to kind of visualize it out as like sort of 3 separate fractions, right? There's like this fraction that's 3 over 5, the numbers, and I'm not really going to do anything with that. Then I'm going to address, like, let me address the b's separately, right? So here on the top, I have b to the fourth and b to the second on the bottom. Now, what happens with that? Well, I mean, that's 4 b's over 2 b's, right? So this is going to actually cancel out and become just 2 b's on the top. And then we have this x deal. There's actually no x's on the top. I'll put a 1 there. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 x's on the bottom. Okay, so what do I end up with here? Well, on the top is I have my 3. Okay, now remember these 2 b's canceled 2 of these b's up here. So right, this became like b squared over 1. So there's a b squared on the top, right, because there's a b left over on the top. And then there on the bottom, there's this 5 and this x to the 5th. Okay, so this is the answer. Now you may find that when you get to this point that you want to just write it all out. You want to write out 4 b's and 2 b's and then cross off, right? That's totally fine too. That'll work. Separating it out like this works too. In the next example, I'll write them all out the long way so you can see it that way. Okay, it's kind of it's a matter of preference. Let's look at another example. Okay, and again, I'm going to make it super long so you can just see that yeah, it's long, but ultimately, it's just you just kind of be neat and tackle it one step at a time. And sometimes really hard math is just kind of like that. It's just long and you just got to be organized. Okay, so first what I'm doing, I'm drawing out my nice fraction bar and I'm moving anything that has a negative exponent. So I'm going to start on the top. So I have 7. That a squared, that's positive. Got no issues there. But this b to the 4th, that's moving down. And this c to the 3rd, that's moving down. Why? Because they're negative exponents. Now let's take a look at the bottom. Okay, the 5 stays in the bottom because it doesn't have a negative exponent. This a to the negative 3rd, though, it has a negative exponent, so it's moving to the top. The b to the 2nd, that's staying. I'll just squeeze it in right here. And the c to the negative 4th, that's moving. Why is it moving? Because it has a negative exponent. Oops. So, and when I move it, remember, right, so here it's c to the negative 4th. On the top, it becomes c to the positive 4th. Okay, so now, right, so this was like one strategy where I kind of wrote out like, okay, the numbers, the b's, the x's. So I'm going to use this other strategy, and one is not better than the other, where I just write everything all out. So I'm going to write out the top. So 7, I have 2 a's and another 3 a's and 4 c's. On the bottom, I have 5, I have 2 b's, another 4 b's, and 3 c's. And what I see happens here is there's some c's that cancel, And no A's cancel because there's no A's in the top and the bottom, right? Only the top. And no B's cancel because there's only B's in the bottom and not the top. So what am I left with? On the top, I have 7. I have 5 A's and a C. And on the bottom, I have a 5 and 6 B's. That's B to the 6th. Okay? And there's my answer. Okay, so you kind of choose which method works for you better. And you're going to go ahead and set up, you're going to do 3 of these. So go ahead and set up 9, 10, 11.